Okay, so we are up to chapter 52. And before we actually start the chapter, it is the yahrzeit of one of our participants' father, Sarah. So we are dedicating this learning to the Aliyas Haneshama of Yeshaya Halevi ben Tzvi Aryeh. Okay, chapter 52. We're nearing the end of this section of Tanya. This chapter, chapter 52, is also, like the last chapter, a little more technical in nature, the purpose of which is to give us a greater understanding, to be able to finalize everything in the last chapter, in chapter 53. So we're actually continuing the discussion in this chapter of the Shechina and what that means exactly, and why we refer to like the revelation of the Shechina. Like if Hashem is everywhere, why is the Shechina more revealed in some places than in other places? And we started having a discussion about what in actual fact do we mean when we say the Shechina. So we explained in the last chapter that Shechina is not the essence of Hashem. It is an aspect of godliness in the same way the brain is not the essence of the neshama, right? A person is alive because of his soul. Some people mistakenly believe that we're alive for other reasons, but we are alive because Hashem gives us life through our neshama, through our soul. But the brain is not the essence of the soul. It is merely the life-giving potential of the soul. It is where the life-giving potential of the soul is expressed. Because the actual soul is removed from the body. It's much more spiritual. It can't be limited by the body. But then it starts revealing itself. And the first place it reveals itself is in the brain. So therefore, when we refer to the Shechina, that was like the analogy that the Alter Rebbe gave. When we refer to the Shechina is the aspect of Hashem which starts to reveal godliness and actually starts giving life to the world. It is not the essence of Hashem, and it is not necessarily the specific individual details of each creation. It is the start of the revelation of life to all creations. As we explained also in last chapter, there are two different kinds of life. There is one general life that Hashem gives, which is equal in all creations. That may be referring to the essence of Hashem, but it does not become revealed until it becomes what we call the Shechina. We're going to explain that more today. And then that life, much as from our own brain, which has a general life-giving capability, and from the brain goes different life forces to all the different organs and limbs of our body, so too from that general life that the world has of coming into existence, thereafter the light of Hashem divides up into specific details, each creation according to what it needs. In other words, the neshama also comes it reveals life into the body first before it is broken down into specific parts. And this happens in the brain. So we're kind of comparing the Shechina in a way to the brain. And from the brain, all the individual limbs receive their life from there. So too, the life of all the creations receive their specific details and characteristics from the Shechina. Now, the main revelation of life in this world, right, is because Hashem wants there to be life in this world. Hashem created the world, right? So therefore, the revelation of life in this world is enclosed in Hashem's will and wisdom. In other words, in everything in creation, there are the 10 sfirot, the 10 attributes. The first 3 are the intellectual attributes, Chachma, Bina, and Das. And the last 7 are the emotional attributes. But the revelation of life in this world is enclosed in Hashem's wisdom, which is the first 3, Chachma, Bina, and Das. And thereafter, it becomes enclosed in the Torah, which is Hashem's will and wisdom. Now we're going to understand. Now the Alter Rebbe goes into depth explaining how exactly this works. So we're just basically saying that the revelation of life comes from Hashem's wisdom, which is then enclosed in the Torah. Now let's see how exactly this works. Now, interestingly enough, Tanya explains, Alter Rebbe explains that Shechina actually is called by various names besides for Shechina. Okay. In other words, the source of life for this world. Remember that Shechina is the source of life for this world, not Hashem's essence, but it is Hashem's essence revealing itself as a life-giving potential. Before it becomes divided into the various specifics, has a few names. I'm going to tell you those few names, and we're going to explain them. The first name, and these are names that are given in various places in Kabbalah. The first name that we use to refer to the beginning of Hashem's revelation in this world is something called Alma de Isgalia, the world of manifestation, which kind of we can understand because it's the beginnings of revelation, the beginnings of Hashem being revealed. Not completely, but it's the beginning. So it's Aramaic, so it's Alma, which is the word for Olam, the Itgalia, so Hitgalut, revelation, which is the source for all other revelation which comes thereafter. When godliness enters into the details, on one hand, it becomes more revealed. In other words, when godliness enters your hand, wow, the capability of Hashem giving us this power to use our hands for all sorts of things becomes more revealed. On the other hand, there's less quantity of godliness because a lot of godliness is concealed. That comes later. But the beginning is what we call Alma de Isgalia, the world of manifestation. That's one name. The other name given to this beginning of revelation is called Matrunisa, which is actually Aramaic for queen. Every king has to have a queen. And this is what makes God available to this world. So think about it. The beginnings of revelation is the queen of Hashem because it's what takes the potential and makes it actual. Much like women take the potential of the male to have children and puts it into practice. So too, this revelation is the queen because it takes the essence of Hashem and makes it practical into this world. The third name is similar to the second name because it's also the feminine. It's also referred to as Ima Tata'a, the lower level mother. Now, what's the higher level mother? When we refer to Chachma, Bina, and Das, we refer to Bina as a mother as well, because Chachma is the father, Bina is the mother, and they give birth to Das, which is an internalization of the concepts. But here, this is the lower level mother. This is not that comes from Chachma, Bina, Das, but it actually is Malchus. The very last sphera is also referred to in the feminine because it also makes the creation of the world practical, takes it from the potential to the practical. A mother brings attention to the children. She actually has the children, she gives birth to them, but she also brings attention to the children. She brings the concerns of the children to the father, which is why in this case we refer to the beginning of revelation of Hashem as a mother. But it's the lower level mother because it's the creation. It's not the source of creation. It's the actual creation. And then lastly, it is called the Shechina. So you see that the Shechina has few different names. Now, why is it called the Shechina? It's the part of Hashem which is predisposed to creation, because what did Hashem actually tell us, for example, when he gave us the mitzvah of building the Mishkan, the tabernacle, or the Beit HaMikdash? What did he tell us? He told us, V'asu li mikdash, make me a Beit HaMikdash, v'shachanti b'soicham. I want to dwell among you. V'shachanti, the words v'shachanti comes from the same root word as Shechina, dwelling place. So because Shechina is the part of Hashem that is predisposed to creation, It is what enables Hashem to dwell in this world, right? A dwelling place is where a person feels the most comfortable, correct? You feel most comfortable in your abode. Hashem wants to feel comfortable here in this world. But in order to do this, he has to hide himself with different garments in order to create the world. We cannot handle pure godliness, pure Shechina without a garment. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But this is all up till now, these four names, they're all concerning creation in general. It's like the start of the revelation of Hashem in general. There is a specific name which refers to the creation of the Jewish souls, and which are considered Hashem's children. And at that level, the start of the revelation of Hashem's essence in this world, very, very high up, and then it becomes translated into different specifics in this world. It's also called Eim Habanim, so the mother of children, or Knesset Israel, which is the congregation of Israel, which is the source for all of the Jewish souls. Also comes from this place called Shechina. In other words, Shechina, let's make this all mean something, right? Shechina is a middle level. It's an intermediary level. It's not the essence of Hashem. We cannot say the essence of Hashem is the Shechina, because Shechina then becomes very actualized and detailed, and we can't say that Hashem is limited to different specific creations, right? It's not the essence. And it is not the part of Hashem which actually gets divided into all these specific creations, different levels of creation, different functions in creation. It is the concentrated state of godliness, which is not contained any longer in Hashem's essence. So it's left Hashem's essence. So there is a slight revelation, but it's also not yet contained in creation. So again, it's the middle level. It's not in the essence of Hashem, and it's not in creation. It's the middle. It's the intermediary step, and it can be revealed in some places more than others. As we mentioned previously, for example, in the Kodesh HaKadashim, it's more revealed. In the Beis HaMikdash, when people learn Torah, it's more revealed. Now, the different specific parts of Hashem's light is not the Shechina per se, but it's a radiance of the Shechina. It's like the rays of the sun. Because just like the rays of the sun within the sun are completely nullified, we actually cannot differentiate between one ray of the sun and another when they are within its source, their source, the sun itself. Much the same way, if we can say something is the Shechina, it's not Hashem itself, but it's the radiance of the light, of Hashem's light, because the world would not be able to receive the light of the Shechina itself without a garment. Now, what is this garment that we're talking about, right? What is this garment that enables us to receive the light of Hashem? What is the garment, in other words, that conceals the pure Shechina, right? This level of the start of creation, but does not become nullified by the Shechina. So theoretically, if something is not nullified by the Shechina, right, then it has to be greater than the Shechina. However, we just said that the Shechina itself, without any garments, we can't handle that. We become nullified. We would cease to exist if the Shechina would not have a garment coming into this world. So it doesn't really make sense that the Shechina needs a garment, because if the garment is lower than the Shechina, then it becomes nullified by the Shechina. The Shechina is higher. If this garment is higher than the Shechina, then we become nullified. We can't handle this, right? So therefore, if the garment which protects, conceals the Shechina is greater than the Shechina, how does this garment not cause the world to be nullified? In other words, we have to find something which is greater than the Shechina, but non-threatening to the world. Is everyone following? Because I know that we're going in a lot of details. Sina is shaking her head. And I'm sure she's not the only one because this is a lot of technical details. So which part should I repeat, Sina?
Well, you just said, therefore, if the garment which protects the Shekhinah is greater than the Shekhinah, I don't even know where you went.
Right. We haven't actually said what the garment is. We are just presenting the question. The question is, here we have the Shekhinah, right? The Shekhinah is the start of the revelation of Hashem in this world, which will then turn into all the different creations and specifics. But the actual Shekhinah is like in between the world and the essence of Hashem. But we need to bring the Shekhinah into this world, right? The problem is the Shekhinah is too strong for this world. It needs a garment to come into the world, into all its specifics. But the problem with the garment is that what is a garment? The garment conceals. It's going to conceal a little bit the light of the Shekhinah. So if we're saying that the garment has to conceal the light of the Shekhinah, it has to be bigger than the Shekhinah, higher than the Shekhinah. Otherwise, it would not be able to conceal the Shekhinah. Usually something bigger contains something smaller. The opposite is not true. On the other hand, if the light of this garment is larger than the Shekhinah, and the Shekhinah itself can't come into the world, then how is this light, how is this garment protecting the Shekhinah going to help us by enabling the Shekhinah to come into the world? So maybe when I tell you what the garment is, you'll be able to understand better. And then you'll let me know, okay? There is only one thing that has these two qualities. What are the two qualities? That it is higher than the Shekhinah, but yet it is non-threatening to the world, right? Because the Shekhinah is threatening to the world because it can cause the world to cease to exist if it's not a little bit concealed, right? So there's only one thing that has these two qualities. It's greater than the Shekhinah, but yet non-threatening to the world. The only thing that has these two qualities is the Torah. And now we will begin to explain that. Normally, something going from a higher level to a lower level loses something in the process. For example, human intelligence. Human intelligence, let's say a teacher wants to give over a lofty concept, a teacher has to conceal some of his intelligence to explain it to the student. A teacher cannot explain everything he knows to the student and expect the student to understand. There is some concealment. So something gets lost in the process from going from a higher level to a lower level. But when we say about the Torah comes from a very, very, very high level, from the level of Chachma Ila'ah, divine wisdom, right? And it encloses itself in physical objects and activities because in the Torah, there's all the mitzvahs, right? Put on tefillin, keep kosher, all the mitzvahs that we know, right? It does not change. It is like water. Water, when you pour it from a high place to a lower place, even though it's coming from a higher place to a lower place, it does not suffer change. So the Torah is, yes, much higher than the Shekhinah, comes from a much loftier place, comes really from the essence of Hashem, comes from Hashem's will and wisdom, right? And yet it does not change from going to a higher place to a lower place. That's why it is non-threatening to the world, and it can serve as a garment for the Shekhinah, because when we learn Torah, we're learning Hashem's wisdom as it became translated into different details. We can't see Hashem's wisdom undiluted, but we cannot say that the Torah is diluted. It's Hashem's wisdom, purely Hashem's wisdom. The mitzvahs are purely Hashem's will, undiluted, right? But in order for us to be able to learn it and be able to perform the mitzvahs, it has gone down from level to level, through all the worlds, through all the 10 attributes, but without suffering change. And it expresses itself in the physical. Matzah on Pesach, shofar on Rosh Hashanah, tefillin for men every day, lighting the Shabbos candles, keeping kosher, all these physical details. But like water, it remains the same. And the Shechina, seeing as the Torah is a garment from the Shechina, so how does the Shechina come into this world? Shechina expresses itself in this world by coming down together with the Torah. So it's one and it's like it's dressed, it's enclosed within the Torah, and that's how Shechina becomes revealed in this world. So therefore, when we learn Torah, the Shechina is revealed. When we do mitzvahs, the Shechina is revealed. Particularly doing mitzvahs will be explained in the last chapter of this part of Tanya, right? And interestingly enough, which that is why we also say that the Shechina was mostly revealed in the Holy of Holies in the Beis Hamikdash. Because, we only see our world that we live in, right? But actually there are 4 worlds, as we've mentioned previously. There is the world of Atzilus, which is very, very closely connected to Hashem, the world of emanation, the world of Bria, the world of creation, the world of Yetzirah, the world of formation, and then our world, the world of Asiya. In each one of these worlds, there is a very holy place that's like the Holy of Holies in the Beit HaMikdash. And that is found within the intellectual attributes of that world. So in Atzilus, it is in the Chachma Bina Das of Atzilus. In Bria, it is in the Chachma Bina Das of Bria. In Yetzirah, it is in the Chachma Bina Das of Yetzirah. And in this world, the Chachma Bina Das, the wisdom of Hashem, is expressed mostly in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies, which was in the Beis HaMikdash, which will be revealed very soon to us again. Interestingly enough, in order to become practical, to create all the details which we spoke about, the Shechina then goes from the intellectual part of the world into the practical part of the world. So the same way as there's 10 attributes in our world, there's 10 attributes in all 4 worlds. So the Shechina goes from Chabad di Atzilus to Malchus of Atzilus. Malchus is the last sphere, the practical sphere. Then it goes from Malchus to Atzilus to Chabad of Bria. It goes from like the last sphere to the first spheres of the second world. From the first intellectual attributes goes to the last attribute. Where all the souls and the angels that come from the world of Bria, that's where they're created. Bria is actually the source for Gemara as well, interestingly enough. Then from Bria, it goes into the intellectual aspects of the world of Yetzirah. From the intellectual aspect, the Chabad of Yetzirah, it goes into the Malchus of Yetzirah, and from there, it goes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim in this world, which would be the Chabad of Asiya. Don't confuse yourself. This is just, don't get confused. Don't worry about this part. This is not so practical as the rest of the chapter, but the Alter Rebbe does bring it in this chapter, which is why I am mentioning it. It basically explains how the Shechina goes from world to world to world to world, landing up in this world, and thereby becoming revealed through the Torah and the mitzvahs. And this is the topic which the Alter Rebbe will continue in the next chapter to tie up all the loose ends and to explain to us how important it is to actually perform the mitzvahs and thereby bringing Shechina into our world and into our lives. Now, Sina, first of all, before I open up for questions, is it clearer?
Well, yes, when you say the Torah, of course, that's much clearer.
Right.
The Torah and the mitzvot.
In other words,
right.
the Torah is a garment.
It's
a garment for the Shechina. The Shechina, we cannot withstand the Shechina, the complete revelation. But we do say that we have to reveal the Shechina. We do say that the Shechina is revealed more in some places than others. How do we do that? Through the garment, which is the Torah. The Torah can serve as a garment because it is higher than the Shechina, but yet is not threatening to the world because it is in this world. Okay. Anybody else with questions?
Wait, you just said the Torah serves as a garment. It's the garment because it's
for the Shechina.
Because it's higher than the Shechina. The Torah is higher, right? But it's not threatened.
It's not threatening to the world.
It's not threatening to us.
Yes, the Shekhinah is threatening to us without a garment. The Shekhinah, if it would come down here without a garment, we would cease to exist. We need protection from Hashem's light in order to exist. So the
Why is it
Shekhinah,
not threatening?
because
Why is it not?
that's exactly what we explained, because the Torah is like water. Even though it comes down in level,
Doesn't
this
get
world
diluted.
doesn't change, doesn't get diluted. It's like water. That's why, by the way, we call the Torah Mayim Chayim, living waters.
I'm missing a connection. You said because the Torah comes down like water, it's non-threatening. But why is the Shekhinah, what happens to it as it comes down? It's not like, how are you equating those two?
No, so the Shekhinah is enclosed in the Torah. So what
No,
happens
I know
is,
that, but you're saying you can't just have the Shekhinah come down because it's threatening, right?
because the light is too great. Because don't forget that in this world, right, there are different kinds of creations. The light and life that these creations have in this world is like our body. Your hand has a different capability than your foot. Your tongue, your nose, your eyes, they all have different capabilities, right? But they all come from this central place called the brain. And the brain is the start of the life-giving capability of your soul. That's where the life-giving capability of your soul begins, in the brain. It can't go straight to the eyes, can't go straight to the mouth. It would overwhelm the eyes and the mouth, right? So look at the world as a body, right? We have the essence of Hashem, which is like the neshama, removed from the body. Then Hashem creates the world, and there's all different creations in the world with all different needs and specifications and characteristics, right? From a stone to an animal to plants to human beings, correct?
Right.
There has to be a central place, like the brain, to give all those details, right? So the Shekhinah is like the intermediary. It's like the brain. It's like the intermediary between the soul and the body. The Shekhinah is the intermediary between the essence of Hashem and the specific creations. But there's just one difference in the analogy. The Shekhinah can't just come into the world undiluted, because the Shekhinah is too strong for us. The world would become nullified, much like we gave the example of the sun. The sun, when you look outside and it's a sunny day, you're not looking at the sun. You're looking at the rays of the sun. So the creations in this world are radiations of the Shekhinah, but they have to come, this radiation of the Shekhinah has to come down in this world with a garment to protect us from the light.
So I understand all of that. What I don't understand is why you say, because the Torah comes down and it's non-threatening, because it doesn't change. Do you understand that little, that's what I don't understand.
You're saying it's non-threatening because it doesn't change? Yes. So the fact that it doesn't change means this detail of not changing, that's a very good question. This detail of not changing means that it remains higher than the Shekhinah. Because usually something that comes from a higher place to a lower place changes, except for water. Even human intelligence changes, diminishes. In order for a teacher to explain from a higher level to a lower level, you're holding back something, right? You want to teach a child to read Aleph Beis, you're holding back all the rest of your knowledge. You're just teaching them Aleph Beis, right? That can be translated into other concepts as well. A teacher does not teach all their wisdom at one time. They hold back. So something gets diminished from a higher place to a lower place. But the Torah remains unchanged, which teaches us that the Torah remains higher than the Shekhinah. It doesn't get diminished. So it remains higher, but something higher than the Shekhinah would theoretically nullify us. Because if the Shekhinah can nullify us, why can't the Torah nullify us? So the explanation that the Alter Rebbe gives is that the Torah does come down step by step by step, but without becoming changed. So it remains higher, but we do not become nullified because it expresses itself in physical objects. What we read in the Torah is all about physical stuff. Stories that happened, mitzvahs we should do, It's palatable for us. We're able to learn it. It's relatable. It has to do with our world, but yet remains higher than the Shekhinah because it doesn't change. So that's a very good question, Chaisara. I hope everyone understood that nuance. It remains higher than the Shekhinah. Does not nullify us because it does come down, but it doesn't become less. It still remains more. I hope that explains it. Anybody else? Okay,
What does it mean, higher than the Shechina?
what does it mean? What?
Higher than the Shechina. I thought Shechina was
No,
the
Shekhinah is
highest.
not. No, Shekhinah is not the highest. Shekhinah is the intermediary. The essence of Hashem is the highest. So Torah comes from the will and wisdom of Hashem, which is higher than Shekhinah. Shekhinah is the beginning of revelation of
Okay.
Hashem. The starting point of Hashem being revealed in creation, but it's not part of the essence of Hashem, nor is it yet part of creation. Only when it's enclosed in the garments of the Torah that it's able to come down with the Torah into the creation of this world.